Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 156. Today is Sunday, November 6, 2016, and I'm glad you could join me today. More coffee. Interestingly, only the second cup of coffee today, but it's morning, so this is expected. And it's a little bit chilly outside, like, not enough that I'm not wearing shorts, but like, it's feeling a little bit more like fall now in Texas. So, that's nice. It seems very bright and maybe even overwashed by recording, but oh well. So, this is my laminaria. So, I finished up a repeat this morning, so I have 1, 2, 3 full blossom repeats in now, and then the transition. And it seems to be settling into a nice pattern so far. I haven't quite memorized the pattern yet, but it's what would it be? An 8-row repeat with only the pattern being on the knit rows, so not too crazy. And it's coming together nicely, so maybe you guys can see the little flowers. Maybe. I can't even tell. I guess I'm centered up on a flower. So, there you go, little flower. So, it's coming along. It's not very good in the dark knitting, but it is perfectly fine knitting the rest of the time, so, it's a little too challenging for the dark. You need to be able to at least look at the stitches every so often. But, I'm really liking the squish of this one, so that makes me happy. I guess I could show you the art. So it's an Elizabeth Freeman pattern, and then here I rewound the ball, and then was immediately filled with regret. Because it was actually easier to have it be the center pole, but I guess I only got to find out about that after I couldn't undo it anymore. And then here is the other end. So I still have quite a lot of the green to go, and then it goes into a teal after that. So I'm not quite to the point where I can see the teal peeking through the green yet, but oh, this will come. And then I'm not quite sure how big I'm going to make it. I could read the misdirections. So they suggest 8 chart repeats, so I might end up going with that just because I don't want it to be too ridiculously massive. So 3 repeats and 5 to go, but it grows. And then the border is actually quite a lot of the shawl anyway, so there's that. So the other thing's probably going to take a little bit of digging, so we'll drink some coffee. Okay. So the other thing that got some progress is the Delancey cardigan. I am now entirely picked up around the edges, and I've done, I think it looks to be 2 rows or 2 garter ridges so far for the border. And then this will be pretty close to being done then. So I'm pulling from the other end of the ball this time because it had lots of blues and greens and purples in it, and I sort of wanted that to be incorporated into the sweater. And I'll probably end up doing the contrast I'll probably end up doing the contrast color being the white. So we shall see when I get to that. I have several more rather long rows because there are a bunch of stitches on the needles before I really make that decision. But these are the only knit flat bits. Or there isn't very much of this sweater that's knit flat, so it's sort of the case where what would it be, based on how the color is changing in the yarn, that it may not have as big a visual impact as the other stripes, because that in that case you could see like a color progression in each, or whatever. Each stripe was basically its own color. So this is good mindless knitting as well, but it's big, so that makes it slightly more challenging. And as you can tell, I'm totally not used to having my hair down, but I was planning on wearing it down today, so I was like, what's this stuff? Not the end of the world. As far as the socks are concerned, I'm not going to pick them up until I finish something, which is probably going to be the sweater. So they're languishing. I also have that shawl, but I probably won't pick that up until I finish the shawl I'm working on now. I'll probably mail it out whenever that time comes. So there's that. Crap, I'm gonna be right back because I totally forgot. Okay, I'm back with yarn. Okay, so I totally forgot to show this last week, and it was sitting on the whatever. I have like this built-in nook thing in a hallway. But I do have two finished skeins of yarn, one of them from last week and one of them from this week. So I did manage to finish applying this on Halloween, so I did manage to spin a pound of fiber in the month of October to catch up on my bin. And this is Nest in the Shoshone colorway. It's a fin. It turned out to be, what is it? So it's 213, so it turned out to be 425 yards. I haven't checked to see if it changed too much in between then, but I think it's a good sock weight sort of yarn. So there you have it. And then I have this guy here, which is also Nest in the Chautauqua colorway, and it is a Polworth silk. And for whatever reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but it has a lot of curlies in it. But if you hold the skein, it's totally balanced. So I don't know what went strange with this, or in that particular section. So this was a fractal 357 3-ply. So lots of color mixing. The end product, I would say, definitely has a lot of that yellowy green in it, and then the dark red sort of looks more russety, if that makes any sense. So this is somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 yards, and I don't know whether or not this will make my socks too. Not sure for what it is I want to do with this. It is an unknown. They aren't normal, they aren't really my normal colors. But I was amused because I was wrapping these two together, and obviously they're very different weights, but it's just cool, like, how well everything ends up coming together, which I found to be interesting. So it probably just means that the dyer is using very similar primaries, because then it'd be the case where it also goes very nicely with the sweater, which is also Nest hand spun as well. So so this means that I have one, but technically 3 more bumps of what was it, the Vorfruit colorway, which is a which is going to be a merino superwash merino silk. I have my rainbow western sky knits. I have my Into the World merino bamboo silk. And then I have my Malabrigo fiber as well. So definitely, I don't know. But what I had forgotten about, which is what I want to talk about for spinning, was my pigeon roof studio. So I had started this in Germany as an excuse to talk to the locals, because there's nothing like spinning in public to make people want to talk to you and figure out what in the world you're doing. I'm working on this, so I don't even have anything on my wheel right now. And what I'm trying to do is to get a good burn on this so that I can go back to wheel spinning. And I don't know if good burn means I'm trying to get it all finished up before the end. I'm not sure. But what is it? But whatever. So it'd be the case where I still have a pound of fiber to go in my bin, so I better get cracking. So, oops. Slipped off the knot. So this is the Pigeon Roof Studios. This is a 70% merino, 30% silk one, so it's very, very luxurious. And it is in these pinks, purples, browns, and whites. And there's still a lot to go. But things get done when you work on them, so if I'm not working on them, they're obviously not going to get done. So I think what I wanted to do was actually weigh this, and I brought my weighing equipment so that we can figure this out. So, pot scale. And somewhere is my bowl, maybe. Yeah. Bowl for holding fiber. Turn it on and see how far we are. Actually, I think I'm going to take this off. So this is, or the whole spindle is 0.59 ounces, so you can go from there. So I have 1.797 ounces, so a little bit more than an ounce here. Done, so 1.2-ish. And then I have left, what would that be, 2.95? So almost 3 ounces left here. So I think when I had last talked to you guys, it was more like I had half an ounce done, so I've spun half an ounce since I last showed this project, so that's good. Promising. And I know for a fact that I will have some good time to work on it because the spindle projects are best for traveling, and there will be some travel coming up for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so that will also be an opportunity. And then I'll probably end up applying it on the wheel. So it's coming along, slowly but surely. But I'm probably not going to start another wheel project until I get a bit further on this one. And so half an ounce in a week isn't too bad for a spindle project, because you're spending a lot of time winding it back on. Instead of the wheel where it's all happening delightfully, automagically. But I have been carrying it around with me and taking it out more often, because I figure that's one of the nice things about spindle projects, is that it's more of a grab and go sort of thing. So I've been using it yesterday to take breaks and that sort of thing, sort of. I was like, I don't want to do this right now. So that is positive. Let it be. But I'm definitely not to the halfway point yet, so that's also concerning. So. But it's been, would it be, crazy busy, so hopefully that isn't going to continue through the end of the year, but what would it be? So it'll be okay. It's just been like, wah. So I'll probably try putting in another good burn on it again and see where that takes me. What is it? Probably make a little bit of lunch and go from there. But yeah, no, it seems like the odds of starting something new are low this week, but I am really excited that I had those, whatever, a very productive November. So that is always exciting. Oh, so I was a little bit bummed. I didn't set a reminder for myself to register for the DFW Fiber Fest, and the class I really wanted to take was sold out. What is it? So registration started at 10, and I noticed that it was open at 1, and by then the spinning for color class had already sold out. So I'm on the wait list for that one, and I did manage to get into the spinning for knitting class, so that was exciting. But I was like, no. So hopefully I can make it up the wait list. I guess I was not prepared for how many other spinners were all going to be squee about Judith McKenzie. Because normally, the spinning classes don't tend to be 100% full, or they take a much longer time to fill because there isn't as big a spinning community as Texas. But apparently, the fact that Miss Judith was coming here got a lot of people really excited and ready to go. So, oh well. So hopefully I make it in. I am taking at least one, so that's good. But I was like, no. But oh, there's not too much that I can do about it. I totally had the means in order to take care of it at 10 a.m. So I don't know. I guess I can't be too worried about it. So hopefully I get in, but maybe not. And if any of you guys were thinking of joining in classes, I think I was surprised at how quickly the spinning ones filled in. Of course, it's very hard. What is it? It always seems like some of the classes go really, really fast. So, what was it? So the Yarn Harlot one went fast, but that always seems to go fast whenever she comes. And I don't know. Perhaps there's a bigger appetite for nationally known spinning teachers than people organizing in events in Texas realize. But, oh well, such is life. So, I should be able to record next week. That'll more than likely be a Saturday, and that would be the 12th or 13th. What would it be? There won't probably be any recording breaks in November, which is nice. What is it? I should be able to record on the 27th for that, and then it should be fine for the week of the 19th. Trying to think of anything else I needed to mention to you guys. I think that is everything. I'm probably going to call the episode Automagically because that amuses me greatly. And I hope you guys... Oh! I almost ended the episode, but I realized I have one more question I had to answer, which will probably mean navigating to my thread. So, the short answer is that I had put up that poll about the fleece and the things, and there was voting, and there was what have you. And, had some very interesting discussions wrapped around what I should be doing. And it appears, what would it be, that 3 people wanted to leave it natural. 2 people were saying dye the medium gray in the locks, and 2 people were saying try to dye the finished yarn, which is, what would it be? So, well, that is the case where it seemed like there was no consensus at all. None. Ah. So I've been puzzling over it, because I do believe no matter what, I am going to dye it. And it was the case where one of the, what was it? In one of the threads where I had started the discussion, there was, oh, what was it? Someone who's probably more on the artist side of fiber artist convinced me that if I dye earlier, it will be much easier to do than if I decide to dye later. And that I'll have a lot more control over my color the earlier in the process I dye. So, it'd be the case where then sort of no matter how I decide to prep the fiber, whether I'm combing or carding, spinning from the lock, that I'll have the easiest time doing it as early as possible so it's clean, so the dye will stick, but it's early enough in that you could probably fix things up if you were slightly felted or something like that. Because I know from when I bought this that, what was it? It turned out that I made the sample I stuck in my pocket and then I went through the washing machine and total felt city, like you couldn't even tell it was yarn anymore. It was, so it's the case where I'm going to have to be really careful. Probably much more careful than I've ever needed to be before. But it'd be the case where I'm not really someone who normally wears white. I'm wearing white today, but I'm just seldom ever attracted to, what would it be, the neutral colors. So I will let you guys, what would it be, or figure out where I'm going from there. It looks sort of like I'm leaning towards actually dyeing, what would it be, that I'm actually going to be dyeing 2 of my piles instead of just 1, so we'll figure out where that goes from there. It'll probably end up being, I think, the darker, I don't know. It could go many ways. So that's the story there. So thanks a lot for all of your input. I really appreciate it. So almost done with the coffee, and then it'll be lunchtime. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.